Hello Year 10. So this will be your first sort of video lesson that we're going to have a look at. So here's your starter. I'd just like you to pause the video now and have a go at the questions and unpause it when you're ready for the answers. So hopefully you're ready for the answers now. So we should get these values here. So x squared minus 10 plus 25, 6x lots of x minus 10. The next one, the numbers 9 and 2 times to make 18, and negative 9 plus 2 is negative 7. Rearranging, we have to take away b first, then multiply by a. More than happy if you've got that in a bracket, so a lots of y minus b, and 1.6 divided by 0.4 is 4. So we're going to look at circles, and quite simply, the easiest thing to do with circles is try and define a circle. However, it's not as obvious as you think. Now, you're a little bit fortunate because we've done constructions recently, but how do we define a circle? Well, a circle's definition is it is a collection of points that are the same distance from a fixed centre. So what this means is we've got some key terms. We have the perimeter, which is our circumference, the radius, which is between the circumference and the centre, and then we have the diameter, which is twice the radius, and the most important thing to remember is that the radii is the line itself, and so if a radius of 3 means that every single circle is going to have a radius of 3, and there's no other sort of defining features for a circle. So let's have a quick look at an example. So if we take the diameter and we bend it around the circumference, we can fit it around once, twice, 3 times, and then we've got this little bit extra. This is the definition of pi, 3.1415926,535. This is what it means. So when you say to me, what is pi, where does it come from? It is the definition between the ratio of the diameter to the circumference. So the first bit I'd like you to write in your books, circumference is pi times diameter, or because we know the diameter is twice the radius, we sometimes use 2 pi r. Now, just write this in your book, pause it and play when you're ready to move on. So, these are just 2 examples. Now these are really straightforward, but we will get into more trickier questions. So to determine the circumference of a circle is 8 multiplied by our pi, so we put 8 pi. I want you to do this on your calculator as well, so just check that you can do that. So if you need to bring out a calculator, you do, but it'll be 8 pi, which is 25.1. Remember, for us to format it, you'd have to press in the bottom right, format, and then decimal on your calculator. The next one, I can still work out the radius of 3, and I can do it by the diameter or just 2 pi r, which is going to give me 6 pi, which is 18.8. Now, what I want you to have a go at is one of the questions on the other side. Try and have a go at both of them, please. So pause the video, try and have a go at both of these questions. Okay, so the easier question, we should have got an answer of pi times 150, which is 471. And for the harder question, we should have got 1,000 divided by 4.71, which is 212. So, what is the difference? Why have I asked you to use a calculator? Well, there's a difference between exact and decimal answers. So, I'm going to ignore all of that form, but basically, exact form is where you leave it in terms of pi. So sometimes in the exam it could say, leave your answer in terms of pi, in which case it wants as exact form. Decimal form isn't actually exact because with pi it's got infinitely many digits, so a decimal form is always going to be rounded. It's never going to be exact. So here's a question. Let's have a look at this. I want the answer in exact form first, and then I want it in its decimal form to 2 decimal places. So for A, we should have got 2 times pi times 5, which is 10 pi, and for B, it's 31.42. So have a go at the questions on your worksheet. They should be handed out right now. The main thing I want us to do, though, we should be able to whiz through question 1 and 6, but I want us to be getting on to these extension questions. So question 7, 8, 9, 10, and really have a think about this challenge question as well. So hopefully you've paused the video. I'm just going to move myself away. I'm going to just show you the answers and just mark them for me, please. So just pause the video and mark them. The next side, I'll zoom in a bit so you can see. So this is 28.27, and this one is 466. And the final slide, we should get an answer of 487 to 491, so you've got a bit of a range. For this one, you should get 4, and for the final bit, the solution's I. So that is everything to do with the circumference. So, Tom and Will, make sure you're listening now, because this is normally the time where you fall off. The area of a circle. So now we want to build a circle with a radius, and this is the most common thing that we see. So, if we circumscribe the circle with a square, we would know that the side length would be 2r. Let me move myself away again. And the area of the square would be 4r squared. And we know the circle has to be less than that. Now if we do one on the inside, if we think about it, the area would be 2r squared. So we know that the area of a circle has to be somewhere between 4r squared and 2r squared. That's what we know. And this is what the earliest adaptation for the area of a circle was. What we then later on learned out was how many r squareds are there actually in the circle. We know it's between 2 and we know it's between 4, but how many is there actually? And this was where some really clever mathematics came in. We actually found out that it was pi. The same ratio between the diameter and the circumference actually comes up with the area. So the area is pi r squared. So here's my example. Find the area of a circle with a radius of 4. So what we do is just do pi times 4r squared, which would give me 50.3. Really important to know that BIDMAS applies as always. So therefore, when we're squaring, we have to square first, then times by pi. We don't do pi times 4 and then square it, because that would be an obscenely large number. So I'm going to go through 2 more examples just to sort of make sure you're aware. So 4.6, you just do the same thing, pi times 4.6 squared. And in exact form, that means I want it in terms of pi, we need to get our radius. So if it's 16, my radius is going to be 8. So therefore, pi times 8 squared is 64 pi. So here are 2 questions for you to have a go at. Pause the screen, have a go at these questions. And for the first one, 28.3. And for the next one, 50.3. Now, here's a little game. So, everyone stand up. Each of you will be asked one at a time in your head to find the area of the circumference of a circle. The answer must be the exact form. I'm more than happy for you to not do this in the game. So, what we're going to move on to is just having to do a worksheet. So, I was tempted by the game, but no. So, let's have a go at the worksheet. Question 1. Question 2, question 3, question 4, question 5. The main things I want us to be able to do are sort of questions 3 to 5. They're sort of the GCSE style questions. So have a go at those, please. And thank you. So here are the answers for what you should get. And that pretty much concludes the lesson. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you back on Monday. Sorry, I'm just on a course with year 11. Bye.